Hello, it's me, Nico again. Today I wanted to explain what CODA means. Obviously, it is an abbreviation for something, but I'll explain what it means. C stands for children, O is of, D is deaf, and A stands for adults. So CODA, CODA, are children of deaf adults. Did you know that deaf parents, 90% of them, have hearing children? It's true. That's who I am. I have a little sister who is also CODA. There are CODAs living all over the world, and America is not the only place that has them. England has them. They live in the Netherlands. They live in Canada and Australia and France, and too many more to mention. There are CODAs all over the world. These are people who grow up signing and speaking, which means they're involved in the deaf world as well as in the hearing world. This also means that they have to navigate between those worlds over and over all the time. It's a huge responsibility. For example, there could be some situations where the stakes aren't so high, but then other situations might be more serious. For example, you might have a situation where the deaf dad asks his CODA kid, "Hey, I checked my mailbox and it was empty. Would you mind going over to the neighbor and asking if maybe they possibly got my mail?" "Yeah, sure, Dad." And then the kid will walk over to the door of the neighbor, the next door neighbor, and the door will open after the kid knocks, and then the neighbor says, "Hello, who are you?" "Hi, my parents are deaf. I live in the house from over there. My dad couldn't find his mail. Do you have it?" "Yeah, sure. Let me go get it." And then a more serious situation might look like this. Here's an example from my own life. This happened many, many times. I would have to get on the phone and interpret for my mom. This isn't a specific example of the specific details, but this is kind of more or less how it would go. Mom would say, "Now listen, you're going to get on the phone with the Social Security Department and you have to explain what my issues are. Here you go." Okay. Hello? Hello, this is the Social Security Department. So this is mother's name. I need to figure out this problem. Hang on a second, you sound like a kid. Who are you? Who are you actually? And here, this means that it's time to explain the entire situation and reel off the whole interpreter situation where I have to explain why there's a kid on the phone and say that, yes, I am authorized to speak on the account and so on and so forth. And I've had to reel off this explanation so many times. I even had to do it as a Sorensen interpreter. After my explanation, I would also say, if you really want proof, my mom's here. She can tell you that she's here. This actually did happen. I handed the receiver to her, and she would say, "Hello," because my mom could also talk as well as sign. "This is mother's name. I'm here." And then the hearing person would realize that they were wrong and say sorry. Something like that absolutely happens to other CODA kids now and in the past. But not all CODA experiences growing up are bad or super serious. You could have, as a CODA, you have two cultures and two languages. When your hearing friends come over to visit, you could show off your signing skills and absolutely make their jaws drop on the floor. You could have that sort of thing. You could go to deaf clubs and deaf church like I did. You could go to different deaf events and meet other CODAs who also have deaf parents or relatives. And you have this sort of different kind of level of socialization that is afforded to you because you're a CODA. There are also some different types of CODAs out there. Some of them get very involved with ASL and signing. They become interpreters, they can teach sign, and they enjoy that part of their identity and being involved in signing in deaf culture. Some decide not to be so involved because they've had to shoulder the responsibility of interpreting and the cultural exchange between the hearing and deaf worlds, and then decide at some point to bow out because they've had enough. It's their decision, it's understandable. I feel like I tend more towards being still involved with ASL and deaf culture, with that group of CODAs who have continued their involvement with the deaf world. I became an interpreter. I have this business where I am teaching sign and teaching people to use it. I would love to explain more about my personal experience being a CODA in the future. Thank you.